Me and Collette. Me and Collette. So this is a another song. This actually should be back in the Santa Cruz section because if you look at yeah, I remember writing this when I was working with HFC. So I've been going through and making slight adjustments, but it doesn't matter too much for this one. But before I went back to Cal State San Bernardino, this was one of those Irish drinking songs. Actually, the next couple. So, but we'll go through this one. So this is more like when I was at HFC, and yeah, because there's a story behind this one. So the context of the song "I'm Living in Santa Cruz." Well, actually, let me say it first. All right, me and Collette, me and Collette. Me and Collette and the captain make three, taking our shots as we're laughing, screaming out. Me and Collette and the captain make three, singing I'm gonna live by the sea. Me and Collette, we do what we can. She loves like an angel and fights like a man. Most nights we drink till we can hardly stand, singing I'm gonna live by the sea. And you go to the chorus. Me and Collette and the captain make three, taking our shots as we're laughing, screaming out. Me and Collette and the captain make three, singing I'm gonna live by the sea. Me and the captain, we try to have fun. It's just too much emotion and not enough rum. Somewhere she's out there, she's drinking to me, singing I'm gonna live by the sea. And chorus again. Then you come back and you're like, take me aboard and take me abroad, to find me abroad until I get bored. And when I get bored, I'll sail further and further to find me another on opposite shores. La da 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 da. I think that's what like the melody's like, the swinging, like la da 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 la da 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 da. Me and Collette and the captain make three, taking our shots as we're laughing, screaming out. Me and Collette and the captain make three, singing I'm gonna live by the sea, or something like that. It's good, it's a fun song. Yeah, I was like, I think I played that at an open mic once. I tried to. And these guys got rowdy and some person fell over and they started bleeding. It was like some old guy started like swinging and swaying, and they were too drunk to swing and sway, and they fell over and someone got hurt, and they had to stop me from playing. And so my first time I tried to perform a song at an open mic, we caused a mini ruckus. It was good. It's a good feeling. So who is Collette? Colette's a girl that I met. My first foray into internet dating. Back then we didn't have OkCupid, we didn't have Tinder, definitely didn't have Tinder. We were just starting to have Facebook. We're talking about like early 2000s. This says 2006, but it's probably closer to like 2004 or 5. And let's see, yeah, and so I got that job with HFC, and I was doing consumer lending, and I had just moved to Santa Cruz, and I was trying to get some more experience with ladies. I didn't feel as comfortable approaching them in person. I remember there's this one time, so that coffee shop, Mr. Toots in Capitola, the one where I said this is where I'm going to write my first piece. I met this girl there once, and my friend had just told me that, just an interesting little way of looking at the world. Like, you meet a stranger and you're like, tell me the story of how you got to here. Like, you woke up and how did we cross paths. And so I had just heard that from him, and I said that to her. A little bit of connection. For some reason, someone glances at you, like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, so what's your story? How'd you get to this moment today? And she told me, and it was like, cool, and it was a good story, but I didn't really follow up with any conversation. Um, Sometimes you need frequency. If you're not used to talking to girls in a real life setting, you need to start getting used to. Yeah, because if it's your one moment or the first person you've talked to, you're a little nervous until, the first time I kissed a girl was in the apartment complex I was living in, and my leg was shaking, literally, like, it was like bouncing off the ground. She's like, are you okay? And I'm like, it was a lot of feeling, like, it's not a bad thing. I think that's a gift to be that sensitive, to have that much emotion, and you learn to channel it and be smoother, but don't be too hard on yourself. If the first couple times, like sex, most people I know, you just premature ejaculation until you learn to calm down. You know what? I actually read something online which I'm going to pass along, a little bit of wisdom. I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but breathing, like yoga and all that stuff, that is the secret to good sex, especially if you have trouble controlling yourself as a guy. I read this article where this guy was asked by his lover, or an ex-lover, they're later on in age, and she's like, how are you so good compared to everyone else I had sex with? You were just amazing. You could last forever. And he was like, well, when I get to that point where I'm about to come, I exhale slowly, and I relax my lower abdominals. And that's very specific. It's not just your stomach muscles, but the lower part of your stomach muscles. When you breathe out, you could feel a little bit of a tension going away. And if you do it right, the partner doesn't even really notice, but as a guy, if you're climbing a mountain and then ejaculating is at the peak of the mountain, it puts you at the bottom of the mountain. So it resets. Now, I've done that before, and then you get too excited, all of a sudden you're back at the top of the mountain again. It's like, oh shoot, I just wasted that. But it's like a reset. And so if you pay attention to your breathing, relaxed exhales with a little bit of attention of your body, specifically the abdominals, will allow you to reset that process towards ejaculation. That's what I found. That's stuff that, I don't know, you practice. Sex is practice. If you want to get better at anything, practice. There's some song, we might as well kiss so we can both get some practice. So yeah, but I was far away from that back then. I had hardly kissed any girls, had lost my virginity, but fell out of contact with that girl again. And then what else did I have? Not much other than that. Made out with some girls in the army, got close again, but it was like, all right, I need to get some experience here. How am I going to write about love and write, romantic poetry when I don't experience romance? I had my little drug addict girl, but we never consummated that. It was always just me, begging for attention like a puppy and ignoring her real issues, enabling her. So then I'm like, all right, internet solved my problem. Like our modern age, anything, I'm not sure what to do, look it up. So Craigslist was pretty popular back then. Right now it's a little bit more sketch, but back then it was actually, I don't know, maybe it's still decent now. Probably not, because there's other, what I've noticed about Craigslist is it's a business model out of which other business models are drawn from. So the dating was drawn from that, and there's a lot of startup dating companies that came out of it, selling furniture, real estate. When I first started in real estate, 2012, Craigslist was huge for us. Advertising, not so much anymore, because there's ad affiliates that do a better job than Craigslist. So Craigslist was like a catch-all, and there's more of that later about my relationship with Craigslist. But and then I had, so I posted some funny pictures with some funny captions, because I was starting to learn in life. It's like you think that you have to be the coolest, the smartest, the most attractive. You don't. You just have to be decent, and you have to have a hook. You have to have a decent opening and just be like a normal person. So I just put some decent pictures and some decent angles on them, and I got some interest. Went on a date with this one girl, and then we drove to a drive-thru movie, but we didn't go in. And no, we went to a gay bar, which is an amazing place for a first date if you're heterosexual. The gay community might get mad at that for us using their culture like that, but you know, it's low pressure. It's an interesting scene. Plenty of those in Santa Cruz. So we went there. We talked a little bit, and then we were driving, and then we were like, oh, a drive-through movie. So we parked outside, and then I was trying to like make, you know, like, since we can't hear it because we don't have the radio station or whatever, I was trying to like make up the dialogue. She wasn't really having it, so she wasn't that creative. We didn't vibe that way. And I'm dropping her off, and I say something stupid. I'm standing outside her door, and it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know until you progress through the levels of like, you know, like dating, kissing, hooking up. Whether it's like that first date or whether it's like a month from then, you don't know what the steps are, how to progress. You know, this is where like fathers or older brothers supposed to tell you, or even friends. Me and my friends didn't really talk about girls that much. We were all clueless pretty much. So I'm just standing there outside her door thinking like I should do something, and she says it's kind of awkward, like it's, you know, kind of like acknowledging the moment, and I'm like, yeah. And that's another thing. I'm just like, yeah. I just waited there until she kind of like slowly went back into her apartment and closed the door slowly. So I took an awkward moment and I amplified it in its awkwardness times 100. I think I also made fun of her shoes, which you don't really want to do. I said like, you know, someone told me not to trust girls with pointy shoes. I just let that hang, so that didn't really work out for me. That wasn't Collette though. So my type of girl, I guess, back then maybe still, but I'm probably, I can hang out with more normal people now too, but was like people who weren't like in the given path, you know. So she was like, I think in college, and those people were always kind of boring to me. So I got a high schooler. Didn't know she was in high school, and I was like 22, 23 at the time, so it wasn't that bad. She was like 17, 18. She was a senior. She was just dropping out of, I mean, she just wasn't going to school and stuff. But I didn't know that. So I posted my funny videos with my funny captions, and she was the second person to respond. And I'm over at my friend's house. This guy I met who, like, I'm still friends with. He went to Puerto Rico with me. Really awesome guy. He has he has interesting things about his life, but he's an awesome guy. Just he's always getting in scrapes and adventures, and his stories would, you know, he has a lot of stories. But back then, we were very young, starting our storybook, right? And I'm smoking a joint with him on his parents' property in like Scotts Valley or somewhere south of Santa Cruz. I forget the name of those towns. Maybe that's it. And his family has like a nice acreage with like a house and like a machine shop and stuff or something, or at least something to hoist engines out of cars. But they're very mechanical. And so he's just showing me around. And me and him and another buddy who would be on and off heroin for a while. There's a lot of heroin in Santa Cruz, in the Bay Area in general. A lot of my opinions about addiction are from first-hand experiences. But so I'm with them, and then I'm talking to them about this internet dating that I'm trying to do, and about how I'm getting a little bit of play. And then there's these girls who hit me up on my ad. They're like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, I'm with my friends. And they're like, okay, you should come over. I'm with my friend. And so there's like two girls. And I'm the guy with the car who drove us out to this guy's house. So I tell them, all right, I'm going to go check out these girls, and then I'll like come back and pick you guys up. But, you know, in my kind of like mind back then was that like, you know, let me, I don't know if I want two other guys competing for attention over there. So I kind of abandoned them at that house, left them overnight. I went to hang out with the girls who hit me up online. And it turns out they're in high school. And so that's the danger of internet dating, is people aren't really verified. And my experience in life is like, life is complicated enough. The internet seems like it would be a shortcut. And I have run into girls who are underage at bars who just have fake IDs. But there's so much information that's conveyed. We have like pheromones, we have how someone acts, how someone speaks, how they carry themselves, their body language, how they hold eye contact. I don't really think this internet stuff is more efficient, but people do it and they're successful. But in my experience, the real world is a lot more efficient. So I go over there. It's a little bit of a bait and switch, but they're old enough, and it's like a 3-4 years difference, maybe 5 years, but it's not that bad. Nothing happens anyways. I'm too clueless to even, you know, attempt anything. But we hang out, we drink. Oh, I get Captain Morgan. I bring over. So I guess I was is drinking with minors is kind of bad, but this is what happens in the real world when you're trying to get laid. Um, so I got the Captain Morgan, and also if I don't have any, that's the thing is when you talk about people developing a better skill set for approaching women. For the good part of like my early 20s, I didn't know how to other than like get drunk with people, and like it's kind of predatory if you're just trying to get girls drunk so you can start something. But if you have no other skills in your toolbox, and that's all you've been, I mean, all I did in the army was drink pretty much, and up to that point in my life, things only happened when I was around drunk company. So I was like, all right, hanging out with some girls, get some alcohol. So I got the Captain Morgan, we hung out, but yeah, we just all passed out, and I think we ended up cuddling or something, me and Collette. So her name was Collette, and then and so that leads to how do I get girls? Also, I guess through art. How do I use art to process? I guess I used it when I didn't like that teacher who I thought was kind of like looking down his nose on the position at Cal State San Bernardino, which was where I grew up, San Bernardino County. You have that sense when you're poor, or when you're like, kind of like when you're of the underdog group, when people, disrespect you. You might not let them know it, but you feel it. You feel a little bit of pride. And so I didn't like that teacher because I was a little prideful about our dirty little county and our school. And so I killed him in my story. So I use the art, I guess, to express these emotions. You feel that emotion and you try to get it out. And then now when we talk and you're more rational, you can analyze it, but it's not as entertaining. An hour of dialogue isn't as entertaining as a 5-minute song. So you could dissect it to try to find out the bones, and that's what I'm doing here, is to try to find out the connecting threads and narratives. And as you speak, I don't even know what I'm going to say until I say it. So this is interesting way to probe your mind, but yeah, I could Collette, I could write her an essay, which I've done, hundreds of words, thousands of words. Doesn't really get you the girl. I could write her a song, and so I wrote her a song, sent it to her. We didn't hang out again. Once I found out, it was in the morning. We woke up, and her friend was like, I didn't, I've always been kind of like slow play. That's how you keep yourself out of trouble. It's like, if when in doubt, let the girl decide if things are going to progress. And also, I didn't really understand the dynamic of guy-girl interaction anyways. So she didn't give me any clear green lights. I didn't do anything, but we ended up cuddling. Her friend was like, oh, you guys are so cute in the morning cuddling. And we passed out together. And then she's like, oh, I'm not going to go to school. I'm going to ditch school. You should ditch work and hang out with us. And they're just going to go to a friend's house and get high. And I had to go to work. This was a work day. This was like a Monday or Tuesday. And I was already late. I think I showed up at like noon with a bad hangover. And that's one of those paths in life where it's like, I could hang out with these high schoolers, get high, or I could go back to being an adult. And it's like, you know what? I probably shouldn't. You should probably, like, I could keep in contact with her, wait until she graduates. We probably should give this a little space. So I was like, nah, I went back to work, was hungover. But then those are the things in your life, like you're being pulled in different directions. My friend who was, the deep love from Southern California, who was addicted to heroin, she would call me up and we'd talk, and she'd be like, why are you being a boring person with your 9-to-5 job? It's like you're pulled in different directions in life. And if I was less of an individual and a little bit more impressionable, even though I didn't have any experience with girls, I wouldn't just follow them. But if I was that type of guy, I might have followed her in her path and followed her into her life. And that's kind of what that one song was about. If I was with her, and if we were doing drugs, and if I had a relationship with her, take a long walk. And then now I have like this high school girls like hang out with us and just get high, and I'm like, nah. So I've always tried to like kind of stay in the middle and then go explore and then come back to my center. And and that's the Collette song. And I still think about Collette. I think I ran into her in the grocery store a couple years later, visiting Santa Cruz, and just passed each other again. But there's something there when you have a connection with someone and there's some sort of interest or like shared connection. It's because, and that's why I say that in person is quicker than the internet, because, and that's my advice I give to guy or girl, friends or whatever. If you feel that spark, then follow that spark. Whatever inspires you, follow that, because we can't always explain it, but there's something there. When it's not there, you can tell, and when it's there, you can tell. You don't have to rationalize it. Just if someone piques your interest, then that's what the seed of love is. Now, whether it grows or whether it's just, you know, you can fall in love with the world and there's too many people and you have not enough time. And I think that's in the song, but yeah, but if you're single and if the opportunity presents itself and you have that, if you have the ability to explore the opportunity, why not? And that's what I've always felt, and it's been a pretty good rule to live by. You just, you know, you gotta stumble before you walk. So I was definitely stumbling.